The bosses in Soulsborne games are renowned for being difficult, and dragons appear frequently in the entire series. Some of the hardest and most memorable adversaries you can face in these games are the dragon bosses. Dragon bosses can either fly through the air or crawl on all fours, so defeating them requires both a well-thought-out plan and deft execution. These battles will put your abilities, endurance, and resolve to the test, from the recognizable Darkeater Midir of Dark Souls to the mysterious Dragonlord Placidusax in Elden Ring. Dragon battles in the Soulsborne series are among the hardest in video game history, regardless of whether you're an experienced player or fresh to the series. One of the most scary dragons you'll encounter is the Gaping Dragon from Dark Souls. He is most notable for his gigantic size, which has the power to both intimidate and inspire. Additionally, he has a large hole in his torso that exposes his ribcage, and what appear to be fangs that are ready to devour you. This boss is less challenging than other dragons you can battle in Dark Souls. It can be difficult to destroy this dragon, due to its imposing stature and wide variety of potent attacks. It can be difficult to get close enough to attack without getting struck, but there are times when you can, like after a charge or tail swipe. Overall, you might or might not struggle with this boss, but there's no denying his fearsome appearance. One of Elden Ring's strongest dragon bosses, Lansseax, puts even the most experienced players to the test with its unrelenting attacks and destructive abilities. Lansseax, one of the ancient dragons, towering above you and makes use of its enormous stature by stomping and swiping with its enormous claws. However, Lansseax's mastery of lightning is its greatest asset. The dragon can strike you with red lightning, which explodes on impact and injures everyone in its path severely. Even after dodging its direct assaults, it can still hurt you by swiping a lightning blade on the ground as one of its attacks. With a weakness to piercing damage, Lansseax must be taken down from a distance, making archer compositions the most efficient. Ashes of War can also be applied to melee weapons to make it easier for ranged attacks to land. If everything else fails, you can level up your character to make up for your flaws, and then battle him again with more effective tools and weapons. You'll undoubtedly run upon Seath the Scaleless, a difficult boss who lives in the Crystal Cave. As you go through Dark Souls, it's imperative to defeat him in order to advance in the game, but the boss battle is not simple. The first time you encounter Seath, a trap will kill you. However, the next time you encounter him, shattering the crystal behind him will start the true battle. Tail Whips and Crystal Breath are two powerful abilities that Seath is capable of using, that have a high damage potential. You must take advantage of the brief gaps between his assaults, since they come at a high rate of speed, and you must avoid them because they are powerful. If you're up for it, you can add another difficulty by cutting off his tail while you're fighting. We only advise it if you have a friend to play with, or if you want the Moonlight Greatsword. Approach Seath only when you're prepared because he is the strongest dragon boss in Dark Souls basic game, excluding DLC. One of the few memorable bosses in Elden Ring encountered during Fia's questline is Lichdragon Fortissax. He flaunts his enormous size, power, and a variety of lightning assaults. If you encounter him early in the game, his enormous health pool makes it a battle of endurance. He can be very simple to fight, though, if you've already beaten Lansseax and other dragons of a similar nature. Staying vigilant, being persistent, and precisely timing your assaults to evade his lightning strikes are the keys to defeating Lichdragon Fortissax. When striking, he uses tells that are comparable to Lansseax's, so you know just when to avoid. In this battle, having excellent lightning resistance clothing can make all the difference. While the plan may appear basic, success isn't always guaranteed, and you might need to create new strategies or advance your character's level to get past this difficult encounter. The renowned and challenging boss Sinh, the Slumbering Dragon, may be located in the Dragon's Sanctum in Dark Souls 2. One of the hardest bosses in the game, Sinh is the final opponent in the Crown of the Sunken King DLC. He is renowned for his spectacular battle and destructive blows. Sinh's repertoire of moves includes flying assaults, tail whips, and toxic fire spits that may deal tremendous damage. It is essential to stay close to Sinh, the slumbering dragon throughout the entire battle. Because his close-range strikes are simpler to escape than his long-range ones. Strike Sinh's head to do the most harm on him, but watch out for his toxic fire strike. That will obliterate your health. It can take a while for you to win because of how challenging he is. When provoked, the gigantic dragon known as the Ancient Dragon in Dark Souls 2 transforms from an NPC at the Dragon Shrine into a boss. Due to its unexpected moveset and significant damage output, the Ancient Dragon is regarded as one of the most challenging enemies in Dark Souls 2. Since several of its strikes have the ability to one-shot you, it is imperative to maintain a high level of alertness during the whole battle. In addition, the Ancient Dragon has a really high health level, making it difficult for you to harm him. You can dodge his strikes by concentrating your attacks on his feet to cause damage, avoiding standing directly in front of him, and running as quickly as you can. When he starts to breathe fire, the Ancient Dragon is regarded as a generally unfair fight, and is likely one of the most difficult boss battles in FromSoft history. Red Dragon, one of the Dark Souls series' most powerful dragons, is without a doubt Kalameet. This boss may be found in the Royal Wood sector of the game as part of the Artorias of the Abyss DLC. If you run into him for the first time, you might die right away unless Hawkeye Go assists you in knocking him out of the air. It's imperative to remain vigilant when attacking, because Kalameet possesses a variety of lethal attacks that can instantly take your life, such as fire breath, stomp attacks, and aerial assaults. The key to beating Kalameet is to concentrate on avoiding his attacks, while holding off until the ideal opportunity to retaliate presents itself. However, be careful not to get caught in his fire breath when using distance strikes. Overall, Kalameet is more challenging than the majority of the bosses in Dark Souls, and defeating him could need several tries. The two-headed secret dragon boss known as Dragonlord Placidusax can be found in the crumbling Farum Azula. The first time you encounter him, it is incredibly terrifying due to his massive size and strength, which make him a deadly adversary. With its lightning-quick movements, deadly breath attacks and teleportation, she is perhaps the most extraordinary dragon of the group, with two heads each capable of unleashing laser beams and fire. You must become familiar with this dragon's attack patterns in order to successfully dodge and counter his blows. Make sure you're not facing Placidusax when it fires his laser beam attack to prevent getting attacked. Dragonlord Placidusax, like many other dragons in FromSoftware's games, is most vulnerable to piercing damage, so in order to cause major damage, you must focus on his head or other specific weak spots. This dragon is exceedingly tough and, if not for Midir, would have been the hardest dragon boss in FromSoftware history, because of his wide variety of attacks and resistance to damage. One of the most challenging bosses in the entire Dark Souls series is known as Darkeater Midir. This enormous dragon, which can be found in Dark Souls II's Ring City DLC, has a strong moveset, and can quickly overwhelm you if you're not prepared. Along with unleashing a barrage of physical attacks, Midir has the ability to breathe fire and a laser beam. In addition, if not avoided, he frequently launches himself into the air and breathes fire at you, dealing tremendous damage. Midir's health pool is one of the most difficult components of defeating him, because it is excessive even when compared to other bosses. He can be downed after several minutes of relentless assault, but one slip-up could mean having to restart the battle. Since you run against him in the final stage of the game, you'll have a ton of powerful weaponry at your disposal, like fully upgraded, lightning-infused twin blades. The battle with Midir grows more bearable if you can perfect the timing of his attacks and exploit the gaps wisely, but he still ranks as the hardest dragon boss in all of the Soulsborne games.